Hello everybody, good morning to one and all. I am Kranth and I am from APSSDC. Well, I am going to teach you today about a new subject in communications. Especially we were been learning so much about communications and what are the most important things that we have to come through the communications. All right. So today we have a very most important thing that you have to remember, and that is contractions. Let us see the heading here. If you can see the heading here, we have something called as contractions. Yeah. So when I say it is contractions, what does this mean, or what do this mean? When I speak about contractions, people, contractions simply meaning as, when you combine a word and when you shorten a word and pronounce it back, that is called a contraction. Most of the times we use words which are shortened. For example, do not, and we say it don't. It's like mixing two words into one word and saying that. So these are called contractions. Combining of two words, combining of two words into one word, that is simply called shortening of word, and then pronouncing it is called contractions. So these contractions will help you in different perspectives. It can be don't do it, do not do it, don't. One word is like, good, isn't it? Isn't it? Is it, isn't it? So isn't it is something like one word, right? So these are all one word contractions that will make the conversation more beautiful. That is what you just have to remember. So when I say about contractions, and when I really tell you about contraction, what does this contraction mean? I'll just give you a definition. Let us see the slide here. Wow, you have the exact meaning of it. The contraction is an abbreviated version of a word or words. They are formed by replacing missing letters with an apostrophe. These contractions are formed neither by shortening a word or merging two words into one. For example, see, I have said you don't, do not, can't, cannot, shouldn't, should not, his, he is. So when I speak about the contractions and its examples, yes, it's basically an abbreviation version of the word or the words. Simply putting up into one word, making two words into one word, or shortening the words, or when I speak about contractions, the most important thing that you have to remember is how are you actually pronouncing them, or how are you uttering them at what particular situation. Right? For example, do not go into the classroom. So this is what you just want to tell you. You just want to tell that to the student. So you can say don't go inside. This is one of the example that I am just telling you. So and again I can say you one more important thing. There will be situations where you can just use this one particular word to communicate the entire thing. You want to say your friend. You can just tell your friend that you can't, you cannot go to racing. Okay, let us imagine your friend is a racer, and he comes and asks you, brother, can you just come for the racing? So you will be like, can't. So simple one word can't can just understand him, or a simple can't word will justify your sentence to him that you really don't want to come. All right. So always remember, these words will help you out in understanding your communications and giving up a good communication. Having a good communication. All right. So this is what you have to remember whenever I speak about contractions. And we have few examples I already have mentioned here. If you can see, we have don't as do not, can't as cannot, and we have shouldn't as should not, and then we have his is he is. So now I'll take you with more of often examples. Everybody wants to have some examples. So today I'll tell you a few examples. Let us have some examples. Right? So before I go ahead with the examples, I just want to tell you one of the most important things, people. We just know only few words, isn't it? We just know few words that are supposed to be implemented, but there are ample of words. There is like ocean of words that we can note down. So please put up a heading as contractions and note down the next coming slide I'm going to show you. All right. So let us see here. We have list of contractions. So I'll repeat each one together. Aren't, the first one is aren't, ARENT, aren't, are not. So this is the right meaning actually, are not. For example, I'll tell you the sentence also. The students are not coming to the class. Now I'll tell you using the contraction. The students aren't coming to the classes. The clues aren't properly mentioned, or you can say the students aren't coming to the classes. So this is something which you can mention. All right, now let us see the next example. Can't, cannot. I think you can put this. Couldn't, could not. I'll tell you an example, or I'll tell you a sentence for this. I couldn't come to the festival that is being organized by the college. Or you can say, I couldn't be there at the function. I could not be there at the function. So this is what it's meaning, right? So these will explain you, these will explain the others to understand in a simplest way. That is what contraction is. All right. So let us see more examples. Didn't, did not, doesn't, does not, don't, do not, hadn't, had not. This is like singular and noun, or present tense or past tense, future tense. We can use hadn't, hasn't, haven't. So these are like past tenses, in fact. Next we have he'd, which have two tenses here. He had, he would. He had is past, he would is like present past. He'll, he will, he shall. His, he is, he has. I'd, I had, I would. I'll, I will, I shall. Most of the times we use this I word. I'll definitely come there. I'll take the class. I'll be here. I'll be there. So all this I'll is, simply is a contraction word for I will and I shall. Right? Now, I am, I am, I've, I have, isn't, is not, it's, it is, it has. Let's, let us, mightn't, might not. So these are few of the contractions that we have, that in fact we use regularly. People, so these examples that I have shown you are few of the contractions which we use every day in our life. It is not like once or twice, like every second and every movement or every situations we go through, we use this. You know, for example, I was been telling about I'll, isn't it? So I'll is I will or I shall, you know, I'll definitely be there, you know, I shall be there, I will be there, you know. It's again a contraction that can be used any situation, you know. For example, are you coming for the class? You're just saying I'll, that's all. So I'll means I will, or you know, I shall, or you know, you're just simply saying I'll. That means it helps the other person to understand that you are definitely interested into the class, that you wanted to come there. Alright, so this is a quite easy communication techniques that you can do through the contractions, and which happens to put the listener in a situation where they would feel like, yes, this person knows how to communicate in a quicker way, you know. This will help you out. So these are some of the regular contractions that we use, as I have shown you. And let us see the next slide. So here are few of the contractions. Mustn't, must not. Shan't, shall not. She'd, she had, she would. She'll, she will, she shall. She's, she is, she has. Shouldn't, should not. That's, that is, that has. There's, there is, there has. They'd, they had, they would. They'll, they will, they shall. There, they are. They've, they have. We'd, we had, we would. Were, we are. We've, we have. Weren't, were not. What'll, what will, what shall. Water, what are. What's, what is, what does. What if, what have. So people, when I speak about these contractions, the second set of contractions that I have showed you, these are the contractions that we use, sometimes in our life, right? I mean, it's not life, it's sometime at the situations, all right? So I'll tell you a few of the examples, what have happened to you if you've met with an accident? Or you met with an accident, what have happened if you got a real bad stroke? What have. So I've just said what have, isn't it? That means what have happened to you if you would have met with an accident, right? So this what will put up a situation. And we have something called they are coming, they'll be here, they are coming, so they are coming, they're coming, they are coming, it simply means they are coming. And we have they'll be here, they will, they shall, that's what I have mentioned here. They'll be coming, that means they will come, they shall come, we don't know, so there are the situations where it is used for plural people, or if more than one person is coming, you say they'll be here any moment, they'll be at any situation. So if there's an invigilation happening, they're coming, they're there, they are coming, you can say they're coming, they're coming. So usually people, these contractions are being regularly used by few of the native speakers. That can be people who are born with the mother tongue of English. For example, if you are being born from saying your native speaking skills or your mother tongue is English, then obviously you can you're inbuilt, or you have passed your talking levels with contractions, so you will use them more often than us, right? So make sure these contractions will help you in making the conversation more better and real good, all right? So these are few of the contractions that will help you in understanding and replying to the people who are actually you're talking with. All right, so let us see the next slide. If you can see here, we have another set of contractions. Where's, where is, where has. Who'd, who'd. Is that the D you're pronouncing at the end of the who? Who'd, who had, who would. Guys, if possible, read along with me when I am reading it out. If you read along with me, you would obviously understand what I am actually pronouncing, or how exactly I am pronouncing it. Who'll, that means who will, or who shall. Who're, who are. Who are coming to the class, who are coming to the class. Who are going to the picnic, who are going to excursion. So who are, that means who all are going. Whose, who is, who has. Who have. Won't, will not. I won't be able to come to the excursion. I won't be able to talk to her anymore. I won't be able to come to the class anymore. I won't be able to travel all the way to your place tonight. I won't means I will not be able to, right? I will not is I won't. For example, are you coming to the class? I won't. Are you going to the excursion? I won't. Will you come to the class? I won't. So these I won't or won't will tell you will not in a debrief, right? Let us see the next one. wouldn't, would not. I wouldn't have been here if I passed my MBA. I wouldn't have, say, the classes if I would have studied well. I wouldn't have gone to the zoo if I got information from you. So something like that, you know, it can help you. It can help you in understanding the people and obviously giving up the information to the people on what particular situation you want to talk how, right? So these all are contractions which can be helpful in all the time, all right? So remember that. Let us see the next contraction. You'd. You had, you would. You'll, you will, you shall. You're, you are. You've, you have. So these are few of the contractions that we have been undergoing with people. So these contractions can be helpful in every time whenever you are communicating, and this will obviously will help you in giving you a basic helping methods when you get choked while you're talking, right? So these will help you out usually every time whenever you want to communicate, all right? So now I just want to take you to the next level of understanding of communications after the contractions, you know, and its examples. I have a new subject for you, that is, look at the slide here, active voice and passive voice. So what is active voice? Active voice, people, I just want you to note it down because it will always help you if you have it in your notes. So put up a heading as active voice and passive voice. Active voice describes a sentence where the subject performs the action started by the verb, and in passive voice sentences the subject is acted upon by the verb. So active voice always describes a sentence where the subject performs the action started by the verb. In passive sentences, the subject is acted upon the verb. Verb is again the name. It can be your name, it can be anybody's name, or it can be any name of the situation. It will be verb. Verb is, I'm sorry, I have misunderstood. Verb is something which we say as work. I mean, you know, any work you do or any work you're doing, or you know, is called verb. I'm very sorry. Verb is something which we call it as work. You know, work. You know, any of the work you do is called verb. So I'll give you an example here. Harry ate 6 shrimp at dinner. That is active voice. At dinner, 6 shrimp were eaten by Harry. Passive voice. Beautiful giraffes roam the savannah. Active voice. The savannas is roamed by beautiful giraffes. So here roam is the verb, but describing a sentence accordingly to the verb basically is active voice and passive voice. Active is when that is happening. Beautiful giraffe is roam in the savannah. The savannah is roamed by beautiful giraffes is a passive voice. Simple. Which signifies the work that the people are doing, or which signifies the work accordingly. And when it is active, you are just describing to somebody, and when it's passive, you are telling to somebody. That is the only difference. So let us see some of the examples of the active voice and the passive voice here. Sue changed the flat tire. Active. The flat tire was changed by Sue. Here you are talking to somebody about Sue. So if you can see here, Sue changed the flat tire. I mean, this is like active voice. I mean, you are just active. Sue changed the flat tire. It just happened, or Sue changed the flat tire is something where he have changed the tire of his bike or car, which got punctured. The second is the flat tire was changed by Sue. This is there's a situation where somebody will come and ask who have changed the tire. So you will be saying the flat tire was changed by Sue. Some active voice and passive voices again. We are going to watch a movie tonight. See, active voice. We are going to watch a movie tonight. Now, a movie is going to be watched by us tonight. You're telling to somebody. A movie is going to be watched by us tonight. Usually people use active voice when you are talking to somebody. Passive is least expressive. Mom read the novel in one day. The novel was read by mom in one day. Was read. Read. See, the verb is being signified. I ran the obstacle course in record time. Active voice. The obstacle course was run by me in record time. Passive voice. So people, whenever I speak about voice, active voice and passive voice, how are you talking, how are you describing the work that you are doing? For example, we all are going to watch a movie tonight, whenever you say we're all going to watch a movie tonight, you can just change it, a movie is being watched by us tonight, so it's all about active and voice, active voice and passive voice. Passive is something where you'll be talking about it, with somebody or later among us. Active is something where you are signifying that you are using it right, or you can just say yes, it's going to happen. Most of the times, passive is being least used because active has always been understanding, right? So this can be good usage, and this active voice and passive voice help you in communicating properly, and as well as give you a good rapport also for having a good conversation. All right, so let us see another set of active voices and passive voices. The crew paved the entire stretch of highway. Active voice. The entire stretch of highway was paved by the crew. The critic wrote a scathing review. Active voice. The scathing review was written by the critic. Passive voice. I will clean the house every Saturday. Active voice. The house will be cleaned by me every Saturday. Passive voice. Tom painted the entire house. Active. The entire house was painted by Tom. Passive. This is very interesting. I will clean the house every Saturday. See, you're telling to your friend that you'll be cleaning your house every Saturday. This is what usually people do it when they speak to friends to avoid going out or something. When you do not want to go outside with your friends, obviously you'll say, I will clean the house every Saturday. So I think this Saturday I won't be able to come outside. So this is an active voice, right? So you can say the house is being cleaned by me every Saturday, obviously. So I have to be Saturday. So you can also have a passive talk here. Very interesting. Example of active voice and passive voice. So let us see the next set of examples. The teacher always answers the students' questions. Active voice. And you have the students' questions are always answered by the teacher. Passive voice. People always remember whenever we speak about active voice and passive voice, you have lot of explanations done. It can be relevant current going experience, or it can be relevant current going situation. It can be relevant any particular thing. You're describing the work. Remember ing. You're doing the ing thing here because every work is being mentioned. Work. When I say work, it is verb. And when I say verb describing it, it is active voice and passive voice. So remember, describing the verb on a particular situations accordingly to the active voice and passive voice will help you out. Your communications go better. Let us see the next slide here. If you can see the slide, we have the second point. The child really enjoys the piece. Obviously, that piece is really enjoyed by the child. Who taught you to sky? By whom were you taught to sky? The forest fire destroyed the whole suburb. The forest fire destroyed the whole suburb. The whole suburb was destroyed by the forest fire. So these are some of the best examples that we have when we talk about active voice and passive voice. People remember, whenever you are talking or whenever you are giving a good examples of active voice and passive voice, make sure you always give it in a right way, because that's how we in forward do that. And tomorrow we'll be learning about some uh, you know tags and punctuations and the same continuation of active voice and passive voice. So thank you so much for listening to the class and being patient in listening to me. I hope everybody have understood the meanings of what I have said and what is that we are going through in our communication classes. Hope you don't forget and share this video if somebody really is interested in learning the communication skills. I am Kranth and I am from APSSDC. Thank you so much for listening to me.